What's up guys, it's Meg and it's that time of the week again where we get to talk about the best show on television, AMC's The Walking Dead. Today we are talking about Season 5, Episode 1, the premiere, called No Sanctuary. It aired last night. It was absolutely amazing, probably the best episode of The Walking Dead so far. I was amazed by it in every way. It did not let me down at all. What did you guys think of it? You have to, if you have not already left comments on how you felt for in my reaction video, let me know in the comment section of this video. How did this episode make you guys feel? There were so many emotions. The horror at the beginning of it, and the adrenaline rush as they're escaping, and the tears and the emotion as they're reuniting with their other friends and family. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. I get chills just thinking about it again. The best episode, I think, by far. But let's get right into it. Today we are reviewing the episode. If you have not already watched my reaction video, when you're done with this, there will be a link in the description to my reaction video. Click on that and watch it, and you can see me make horrible, sad, crying faces. I do not have a pretty cry face, I will warn you now. Anyways, you guys, I thought we would just jump right into it and start with the flashbacks. Now, there were 2 flashbacks and one other part in the middle of the episode where they kind of explain the history of Terminus, and you know, we don't really get a history of it, but we get a brief glimpse as to what happened that made Gareth and his family and the people at Terminus the way that they are. Not gonna make any excuses for them though. Despite the horrors that they went through, they chose a really dark path to go down. And but let's get into it. So the flashback, we start out the episode seeing, we're in the train car, but we're not with Rick and crew. We are with Gareth, and we find out in the Talking Dead episode that the other man in there that he's talking to is his brother, and the woman Mary, who was doing the barbecue at Terminus, is actually their mother. Amongst other people that are in the train car with them. And I wrote down kind of the conversation that they had just because it was very interesting. Also, this is the brother speaking, not Gareth, and it was a bit of a shock at first realizing that the people in the train car were the future leaders or the past leaders of Terminus. It was kind of a shock. So anyways, we're in the train car. We hear a woman screaming, and it sounds like she's being tortured, like it's awful. And we see 2 men, which turns out to be Gareth and his brother, in the train car. And his brother says, we should have never put the signs, we should have never put up the signs. What the hell did we think was going to happen? We brought them here. And then you see Gareth go, we were trying to do something good. We were being human beings. What are we now, Gareth? And then they zoom in on Gareth's face, and he is just visibly shaken, and his body is shuddering, and he just doesn't have words for it. To me, you know, and then we get another glimpse later of Mary's interaction with Carol before Carol shoots her in the leg and lets her die. Mary is almost trying to explain herself. You know, she says that they were good people, they were doing good things, and then the wrong people came to Terminus and they raped them and hurt them over like a couple weeks time, and they were eventually able to take control again. Somehow they managed to escape and take control of, you know, back over Terminus. And then at the very end of the show, we see the bad guys, we don't really know who they are, but the bad guys, bad guy, throw Mary back into the train car next to Gareth and his brother, and she is just crying and sobbing, and awful things have happened to her, we know this. And they go and they take another woman out, and she's begging not again. So you know it is just this relentless torture of rape and cruelty over and over again for these people, and it's just awful, and you really start to feel for what they went through. I mean, nobody should ever have to go through that, and to be in that situation where you are running this place and doing something good and feeling good about helping people, and then the wrong people come here and you get yourself into this incredibly horrific situation. You can almost understand, you know, to an extent, why Gareth and his family are the way they are. You know, they went through some awful things, and suddenly it becomes clear, you know, the memorial in the room with the candles and all of the stuffed animals and mementos can't talk. You know, you begin to see why the words are on the wall saying never trust again, we first always. But there's a line there. So as much as I can sympathize with what these people went through and the horrors that they experienced over the couple weeks that they were held captive in their own homes, you can only sympathize with them to a certain point. And what we haven't had explained to us yet is why did they become cannibals? Why did they choose this specific path to go down where you kill every single person that comes through? You know, why not let people come through? If you're going to keep the signs up, let people come through. Weed out who's good and who's bad. You know, you can, I mean, you can't always tell, but you can generally tell, you know, when someone is mostly good or mostly bad. You know, why did they specifically choose, we are going to kill all of them? Now, there were stuffed animals there, kids' toys. I mean, it kind of seems to me like they are killing children too. Like, they have no qualms about who they're killing. They didn't pull Carl aside and say, oh, he's gonna live, you know, because he's young, he hasn't done anything. They're killing everyone. And they're not just killing them, they're eating them. Like, it's confirmed that they're cannibals. So at what point did they go from being these people who experienced horrible things to not only killing everyone they come into contact with, but also eating them? I mean, it's just, you kind of wonder how it went that far, because I don't know. It's weird. What do you guys think about that? What made them specifically become cannibals? So we see, okay, you know, this is a history of Terminus that we've learned. Once the first flashback is over, it flashes forward to the present time. We're in the train car, but with Rick and crew. We hear Abraham kind of explaining what happened to his group. We hear Daryl telling Maggie that Beth is still alive, that he tried, you know, to save her, but she's definitely still alive. We see them preparing their own weapons by sawing off, you know, with a chain or with a zipper tie, sawing off pieces of wood, Michonne's making a double-ended katana with wood pieces. They've just made a lot of weapons and they're prepared, and you're like, yeah, this is how they're gonna bust out. And then they drop a canister in of gas, and then their weapons are useless. It was so frustrating. But they get taken and they get lined up, and action is just coming, you know, so fast, and you know it's gonna happen, but it's just, I think, the momentum of the point where they're pulled from the train car and they immediately start slaughtering these people. It's incredible. I mean, it's like a manufacturing line, you know, where they have no qualms about killing anybody. They feel nothing, and they go through and just one by one start killing these guys. Luckily, the 4 men from train car D or whatever went first. Can you imagine if Rick and crew were first? Jeez. But we see Sam, which there was speculation of that. Sam, if you don't know, was the blonde-haired guy with his girlfriend who had the kind of gimpy leg. She had broken her leg at one point and it didn't heal right. And they met up, they were hiding in the house where Carol and Rick went on a medical supply run, you know, and they went on a run for food and stuff, and right before Rick vanished her. And they met this couple, and they sent the couple out to help them get supplies, and they never came back, and they found the woman's leg. I remember back when we were first speculating about that, how odd it seemed that the leg specifically had been, it looked as if there was a clean cut, where we were like, did somebody take them and just chop off her leg? I mean, I think that was the very first point in this show where we thought perhaps there were hunters, because it looked as if it was a clean cut. And then we don't know what happened. We didn't know what happened to Sam. And then in the season 5 trailer, we saw, you know, a little bit of his blonde hair and a side profile and the black tank top, and we were like, that's Sam. And sure enough, it was. And he did not even have a line in the show. He was just immediately killed off. Rick and him made eye contact, but obviously they couldn't speak. I definitely think Rick recognized him. And then the horror started. I mean, these guys are like, I have no words. I was so shocked. If you guys saw my reaction video, I knew it was coming. I knew they were gonna kill them, and I had a feeling they were gonna drain them out in the trough, but it's way different when you see it than what you picture in your head. And, you know, TV is so censored these days. Most of TV is so censored that it's a little shocking when you actually do see something really gory show up. And just the fact that they not only hit them over the side of the head, but you actually see them slitting their throats and blood spraying out. It's crazy and scary and terrifying. And the action is just happening so fast that one by one, you know, and they hit 4 of them and they're just dead, you know, in a matter of like 2 seconds. And then it's Glenn's turn, and just at the right moment, you hear gunshots and an explosion, and we know it's Carol. I did watch filming. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. I did look at filming spoilers and things like that in the very beginning, so I knew that, or at least I had a very strong feeling that Carol would be the one to cause the explosion. We saw her in the season 5 trailer with the blood on her face, and then we saw what appeared to be a walker with the overcoat on, but we had a feeling it was her. So it turns out it was. Her and Tyrese are on their way to Terminus when they hear, they see a walker, and then they kill the walker. Tyrese is still having problems killing anything, which it seems a little odd for him. I know he is having trouble dealing with killing humans, you know, and even killing walkers. It's always been very difficult for him. We've always sort of seen a softer side of him where he feels bad about killing walkers too, you know, and not in the bad as in he's crazy sort of way like Lizzie was, but just that he feels sad about it. And he's always had a hard time with it. But since the Grove episode where Lizzie and Mika die and Carol had to put Lizzie down, and Carol admits to Ty that she killed his girlfriend and the other man, he is having an even worse time dealing with it. And he says he can't kill the walker, and he takes the baby from Carol and he lets Carol kill it, and then they discover a whole horde of walkers. So they're hiding, and as the walkers are coming towards them, gunshots occur, and the horde then turns and starts walking towards Terminus. It looks as if, you know, the scene then flips to Carol and Tyrese deciding that they're still going to go to Terminus to figure things out, but also they are going to take a different path. Well, they take a different path and they meet up with this guy from Terminus who is setting up fireworks. And at first I was like, why is he setting up fireworks? It doesn't make any sense. But this is their protocol. So once they take a group of people, if gunshots break out, they send out their, you know, assigned Terminus people to do this job, and they go out in a circle around Terminus, and they set up fireworks. They set the fireworks off, and it draws the walkers back away from Terminus. It's a really good plan, you know, and now you can kind of see why there are not that many walkers piled up around Terminus, because when they make too much noise, they have this system in place where they go out, you know, in a circle around Terminus, and they set off these mini firework explosions, and the walkers are drawn away. It's a great system. But he just happens to be talking shit to his other termite on the radio, saying that he wants, you know, the chick with the sword and the kid with the hat. He wants the kid's hat, and he just happens to say it when Carol is behind him, and it tips Carol off. Thank God. You know, I was kind of wondering how she would figure out that they, you know, that Rick and crew were at Terminus. And there is a whole thing with Tyrese in the cabin with baby Judith, and he's very protective over her, but Carol leaves him in the cabin with this termite who's not even bound that well. His hands are tied with a seatbelt. His legs aren't even tied. Like, I was sitting there thinking, this is the stupidest thing. Like, you have to at least tie his legs, especially knowing, I mean, Carol should have known this, that Tyrese is not willing to kill anyone right now. As bad as they are, he's not willing to kill anyone. So why she would leave him alone with the baby, it's just like beyond me. And he sets the baby down, Judith, in a makeshift crib, and he is standing at the window. So he's got his back to this termite. I mean, just like, what are you thinking, Ty? And then there's a whole fight, you know. Ty, he jumps up, and that's part of the scene from the promo with Ty and the walkers. He's looking out, and you know, suddenly I knew that the man, the termite, was gonna jump up and grab Judith. And my reaction video, actually, that particular portion of the video was screwed up, so I could not add it to my live reaction, but I was freaking out because he had Judith with his hands around her neck, and he forced Ty to go outside, and I was just thinking, you know, if he's gonna kill Judith anyways, why are you gonna go outside, Ty? But Ty goes outside, and he fights off all of these walkers, and we know Ty, I mean, we know that he's really good at this sort of thing for whatever reason. When he is put into the situation where he's surrounded by walkers, he is a beast, man. He fights them off. He didn't even have his hammer this time, and he fought off, like, I don't even know how many walkers. There were a lot. There were at least 5, I'm sure. He fought them all off, and all of a sudden it gets dead quiet, and he swings the door open and just like body slams this guy down on the ground and punches him, you know, and essentially kills him. There was talk about, I've seen different people comment on different things about how they think Ty may have lied to Carol about killing this guy, and I don't think that he lied. I think he really did kill him. The thing is he was, as he's punching him, brutally punching him, he's chanting to himself he won't do it, like he won't kill him. But it set him off, you know. It's like when he started punching Rick, when he was angry about his girlfriend's death. I can't remember her name all of a sudden. It was something in David. What was her name? Anyways, when he was so angry that he started brutally punching Rick, and he wouldn't stop. You know, he gets to this point where his anger overcomes him, and it takes him too far. And I'm almost wondering if he has some kind of past that we don't know about. You know, that he maybe had really bad anger problems when he was younger, and he chose to take a different path and shut that down. And now he has a hard time killing walkers, and he has a hard time letting that out. Like, he doesn't want to let that out. It just seems like he's very explosive when he finally hits that point. And I do believe that he beat this guy so badly that he died in the cabin. Carol thought that she was going to have to go in there and do it for him, but he said, I could do it. I could do it. Meaning that he's no longer saying I can't yet. He's saying I could, and I did. So next I want to talk about Carol and how she managed to break everyone out of Terminus. I am extremely amazed by Carol's character every time I see her. She really amazed me in this episode, and I've always liked Carol. I've liked her since the very beginning, and I've really continued to love her as a character, and I love seeing how she grows. And every episode, you know, she is different, and continually her character is improving. So we see her determined to figure out what's going on at Terminus. She goes and okay, this is what she does. I was losing my train of thought there for a minute, but she knows because she saw the termite, you know, at the cabin, and he mentioned the chick with the sword and the kid with the hat. So she knows that they have been taken at Terminus. So she goes there, and she just immediately starts putting walker blood on her, and she gets like a poncho blanket type thing and smears it with blood so she looks like a walker, but so that she can also conceal her weapon. She goes there and she observes Rick being taken. You know, she gets there just in time to see Rick being taken out of the train car and hauled away, you know, and she knows what she's got to do. She sees the horde coming, and she brought fireworks with her, so she manages to shoot the propane tank gas tank there at Terminus, and as the gas is coming out, she shoots a firework at it, and she's just so amazingly resourceful. I think someone likened her to the MacGyver of The Walking Dead, and I feel like she really is, but also Eugene's kind of like the MacGyver too. But I mean, Carol's character, she's so amazing. She's just like, she knows what's got to be done, and she does it, and she figures out a way to do it. Like, she had no qualms about smearing the blood on her face. She had no qualms about, you know, dressing up like a walker and risking her life, entering Terminus as a walker as people are shooting the walkers, you know. Like, she's just like, she knows what she's got to do. And chaos is ensuing at Terminus. There's the explosion. Gareth, the explosion happens just in time to prevent Glenn's death. If it had happened a moment later, Glenn would have been dead, which we all knew he wasn't going to die. But there was just a brief moment there where you're like, maybe they psyched us out, you know? Maybe Glenn was at filming for, you know, just to psych us out. And there's a split second there where you think, maybe, and then no, of course, he's not going to die yet. Rick sees his opportunity, and Rick pulls out, you know, he has cut through, and this has got to be some pretty sharp wood. I mean, it seems like they were using like zip ties, weren't they, to tie their hands and legs together. And you see him with the piece of wood behind his back sawing through it, and I was kind of like, I don't know, that's a little unbelievable. Either way though, he busted out, and he is just like, he brutally comes up behind one of the termites and stabs him in the neck, and then runs up to the other guy, barrels into him, stabs him in the chest, and I think kind of stabs him in the neck area, and, you know, gets the other guys out, and they're running through Terminus trying to find weapons and get out of there, and they walk into kind of the butcher room. However, they know that these guys are doing something, but I don't think they quite knew exactly what they were doing. And then you see like the human torsos hanging on the meat hooks, and I think at that point they're like, yeah, these people are cannibals for sure. And one other thing before we move on, in that room where they were getting ready to kill Rick and co, the man on the table with, you know, that they were working on chopping up before they brought everyone else in to kill them, that is Gareth's brother. Now, I didn't catch this, but on The Talking Dead they mentioned this, and, you know, Scott Gimple was really describing in depth what the termites do and what they believe, you know, and it was very matter of fact that that was his brother, but he had died. Well, if he died, they're gonna of course use his body and use his meat, you know. They don't necessarily have the emotions there where, you know, it's just kind of like another day at work, you know. Even though it's his brother, well, it doesn't matter at this point because he's dead already. So either way, if you guys didn't catch that, that was Gareth's brother on the table. So Rick and crew escape, and they see the torsos, and they're fighting their way out. Rick gets guns by doing that scene from the trailer that we were like, ah, Rick, as he guns down like 5 people. They are just so determined to get out of there, and every moment of action was incredible. What I really appreciated was right when they got out of the building, and Glenn says, you know, we're still those kind of people that will go and save the people screaming in the train car. Now, we knew that there were other people locked in the train car, but it almost sounded like there were more than one person. So they ran over there. Glenn says, we're still those kind of people. You know, they're not going to leave someone behind in a train car when, you know, just to starve to death because all the termites are gone. They run over there. They let this guy out. It looks like some crazy guy that has been, you know, homeless for years. Like, he's got long hair, he's got tattoos all over his face, and we don't know who he is at this point. And he's like screaming incoherently at babbling random things, and then he gets himself killed by a walker. And I loved the part where they're standing behind the train car after this guy has come out, and Glenn is kind of pushed up against the train car, and Daryl has his hand on him, and they're just like so ready to fight. And you can see Daryl, how he is like leaning forward, and he keeps like touching Glenn's chest, you know, and it's very, and Rick is ready to like attack, you know, and everyone's just, the point I'm making here, and the reason I love this spot so much, is that you can really see how how these people, these actors, have developed their characters so much in 5 seasons that they have become these characters, and the characters have become them, and they truly know exactly how the characters will react. For example, when the group met up with Carol in the woods, and Daryl saw Carol and Rick saw Carol, and you can see the true emotion on their face, where the acting is so well done that you really feel it. And I think that if the actors had been any newer at their job, or if this had been the first season, and they didn't know the characters that well, they would have acted emotional, but it wouldn't have had that effect on the viewers. And you can say whatever you want about Norman Reedus or Daryl, Daryl's character, or, how, he's only a great actor because the girls love him, whatever. I really think he's an amazing actor, despite the fact that I love him as Daryl anyways. But also, Andrew Lincoln, his character as Rick has evolved so much, and him as an actor, he has become Rick entirely. Like, when you see them on this show, they are their character. And I'm probably making no sense, but I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. The true emotion that you see on Daryl's face when he hugs Carol, and you never really see that kind of joy in Daryl's character. He's a very cold-hearted person, and Beth sort of brought a little bit of that out of him, and Carol, over the course of being at the prison, sort of brought a little of it out of him, but you never really saw him happy. And just the way, like, at the end where he bowed his head and leaned it against, her neck, chest, and just, he was so overcome. It was really touching, and seeing Rick just welcome her and hug her, and none of the things that happened in the past are an issue anymore. And it's so great to see, there was so much speculation on, will Rick let Carol back into the group, blah, 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 over and over, and there was really no question about it. I don't even think he thought twice about it. She saved him, she saved the group, he was so thankful, and then, they brought Judith back to him, and there was just no question about whether or not she's in the group anymore. And now I've gone off on a tangent, and I'm not sure I remember where I was at. We see at one point, before they meet up with Carol in the woods, they've escaped, but Carol is still in there, sort of looking for them. She finds the watch and I thought it was the watch that that Rick gave to Sam, not the one that she gave to Rick. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought the one that she gave to Rick was a small woman's watch. I'm not sure on that, but she also found Daryl's crossbow. Unfortunately, Michonne's katana was nowhere to be seen at that time, which is really unfortunate. I don't think that is the last that we will see of her katana. She will either get herself a new one somehow, and it won't be the wooden one that she's made, or one of the termites will think that it's really cool and, run around with it while they're hunting them. I don't know. But I really, truly believe that that's not the last we'll ever see of it. But Carol, recovers these couple items. We also saw in the train car that Maggie had Herschel's watch, Herschel's pocket watch, and that was a real moment for me too. I was so excited to see that watch was not lost. I forgot to mention that back in the train car, Sasha really put Eugene on the spot, and I didn't want to miss out on talking about this in my review. Sasha, I think, is very skeptical of Eugene because he won't, tell them what the cure is. Like, he won't flat out tell them. And she puts Eugene in such a position where he feels the need to explain, and to say, yeah, this is how I know the cure. And he goes off and he kind of explains how, and it's almost believable, the things that he says are kind of believable. I am still a firm believer that, spoiler, that Eugene's storyline will follow the same line as the comics. There's no cure for this, and there's no one at the CDC to, figure out the cure. There's no one in Washington to help them with the cure. Like, this is just the same Eugene storyline as the comics, that he is a very good talker, and he knows how to manipulate people, but that's about all he's good for. He also is very handy in, situations. but he can't fight, and that's why he is leading Abraham and Rosita on in this mission. And I firmly believe that that's the case. But, you know, there was a moment there where I was like, is he gonna admit that he doesn't know? But no, he didn't. And Sasha seemed, you know, more so convinced that he wasn't full of shit than before. Once everyone is out of Terminus and they meet up with Carol in the woods, you know, right before they meet up with Carol, Rick is kind of on this mission where he says, we're gonna kill every last one of them. Like, they don't deserve to live. And Rosita is trying to talk him out of it, and Abraham's like, what? You know, and they're all like, Rick, you're crazy. The problem with this, though, is that Abraham and Rosita and Maggie and Tara, all of the people that were still in the train car, they don't know, they don't have any idea what Rick and Daryl and Glenn just witnessed. So they're like, no, we're not gonna go in there. What are you talking about? Well, they didn't just see the 4 people that were bashed over and had their throats slit. You know, they didn't see that horror. They don't know exactly what kind of people these termites are. So Rick is very justified in wanting to hunt these people down, you know. But as soon as Rick finds out that Judith is still alive, he completely changes, you know, his mission, and he says we need to get as far away from here as we can. And there's a moment there where, you know, there's a very happy reunion. We talked about that. Rick seeing Judith again, it was like flashback to season 1 when he meets up and finds his family again. It was incredible. It was one of those moments where you think that you will never see your family again. He thought Judith was dead. I mean, they were convinced. Mind you, if you remember back in that episode, I was very angry that he didn't look for Judith further, but, you know, they assumed that she was dead based on the blood in the car seat, and they, you know, dealt with it. But such an amazing moment to see him hug Judith. I definitely was very teary at both of the reunions. I'm getting teary just thinking about it. But as they're starting to walk away, they zoom in on Eugene and Rosita, and I think she says, should we tell them? And then he says, not yet. And so I'm wondering, what are they exactly talking about? Should we tell them? Do you guys know? Because I'm a little bit at a loss. I was trying to figure out, what did I miss here? And I'm not sure exactly what I missed. So let me know that. We see Rick write no sanctuary on the sign to Terminus. So what's really funny is, you know, the show's ending. It ends on a high note. We see the entire crew walking down the train tracks together. It was a great moment to see everyone still alive. It probably won't last for long, but it was one of those moments where I'm very glad that none of our people died in the first episode. The reunion was well worth the wait. They close off the episode, and they show us the preview for next week's episode, and then you think that it's over, and I actually was totally thinking the next scene where we see Morgan, oh my god, that scene, I was thinking it was a joke, like, you know, Conan O'Brien was doing like a parody and he was gonna turn around and it was gonna be him under the mask. It was freaking Morgan. Like, I was not expecting that at all. There was some speculation that I had briefly heard of. Mind you, I've been avoiding spoilers like crazy, but I heard potentially that he was spotted filming, but I wasn't sure, you know. I was like, maybe he's just on set, I don't know. And I had no idea that we would see him this soon, but we see him in a full like face mask and stuff, and he pulls off the face mask and he sees the no sanctuary sign that Rick has, you know, written. We don't know how far behind he is from Rick, but he's somewhere on the same path as him. And on the tree is a circle with an X through it. Now, I was trying to, you know, watching the episode going, well, I don't understand what that means. I really have no idea what this mark means. I thought maybe it was a mark that showed that Rick put there, you know, so I don't know. I honestly don't have any idea. But then Ray from the Walking Dead Cape Fear Legion page showed me a picture of the man that came out of the train car, the crazy man that came out of the train car. He had a little tiny circle tattoo with an X through it on his forehead. What we find out at the very end of this episode is that that man inside the train car, the crazy man, is actually the leader of the group that attacked Terminus when Gareth and his mother and brother were doing good things still and were good people. And this crazy man, you know, back before he was crazy, he was just evil, came to Terminus, followed the signs and attacked them and took over. Well, Gareth and crew eventually took back over Terminus, and they locked this guy in the train car for God knows how long. We don't know how long. It's been years. A couple years at least. Probably not years, because I think the apocalypse has only been going on for, what, 2 years now. But, you know, he's probably been in there a long time. He's gone mad, and he's got a huge beard and stuff, and I'm wondering if he... Oh. I'm wondering if he always had the tattoos on his forehead. I don't know. But that particular topic, this topic is going to be what we're talking about on our weekly Walker Talk topic this week, and I will be doing a little bit more in-depth video on maybe my predictions for that, what that sign means, does it mean anything, and I will probably answer some of your other questions that you post on this video or on my Facebook page, www.facebook.com/Weekly Walker Talk. You can follow that page, and I have posted a question there on what you guys want to talk about for this week's topic. I will be also making another video on my predictions for next week's episode based on the promos we've received this week, and I'm trying to wrap this video up because the lawnmower guys are outside doing leaf blowing right now and it's really loud. That is it for this review. I have probably missed something because I've done this all off the top of my head, but if I did, write it down in the comments below and I will add it to my weekly Walker Talk topic this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the review of The Walking Dead Season 5 Episode 1. I cannot wait until next week. I will see you guys next time. Hope you have a great